I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up probably the last Robert F. Kennedy Jr. story of this election cycle. I mean, sadly,
I mean, you say that, but I think he might surprise you.
he very well might, but let's just say what I hope will be the last pilfering of an animal carcass Robert F. Kennedy based story of this election cycle. But who knows? The man simply could shock you. And I will never count out touchdown Robert.
He's out of animals after this. I don't know how you go bigger. I don't know what you could do.
He's like evil Noah.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like Noah's Ark, but it's like a torture.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Chamber.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Yes.
It's not a. The animals, they go 2x2 into Hyannisport, and then they don't come out. They never leave.
It's like the Wasp Factory, but for Noah's Ark.
Well, where we last left our intrepid erstwhile presidential candidate, he was dealing with some flack as a result of him stealing the road-killed carcass of a bear cub, putting it in his car for 6 hours, driving to the airport, then realizing he doesn't want to park his car at the airport with a dead bear inside of it.
Okay, can I just say this story? I have seen a lot of videos of guys who like killed their wife and they try to fool the police by being like, yeah, it was really weird. I got home one day and her head was cut off.
Yeah.
Like someone, like while I was gone for like 10 minutes and someone like cut her fucking head off. And I tried to put it back on. And it's like they always get caught like trying to put their wife in like a steel drum and rolling it into the ocean, rolling it into like some industrial runoff water. And they're like, no, I was doing that because I have these barrels that I have to like use, or else they get taken away from me.
They're going to be empty if I don't put anything in them.
I get a tax penalty if I don't use the barrels. And I just thought like a funeral would be so bad for my sons, and so I would just throw her away. And that's what Robert Kennedy sounds like with this story, because there are so many actions in here that, like, even for RFK, they don't make any sense for a person to take.
She wanted a drum burial. She wanted an Icelandic Viking funeral. They put them in a drum and they roll them into the creek.
It's like you see like road-killed bear. And you're like,
okay, he killed the bear for sure.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because in his versions of events, he like happens upon a run over bear. He's like, I'm probably going to throw this out, but I'm just going to drive for 10 hours with this in my car just in case I have a good idea for it.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Central Park with this rotting carcass in his car, and he's like, oh my God, I can put it on the bike path and it will be a prank. And it's like, what the fuck kind of prank is that?
That's why
it's like going to someone's house and taking a shit on their rug and being like, you got punked, dude.
That's why Tamara Tooney resigned from the Emmys office in SVU, because she was examining the corpse of this baby bear, and she was like, they've done things to this baby bear that I've never seen before, and I just really cannot do this job anymore.
Chris Maloney punches through a wall.
Yes.
I can't take it anymore. The sickness, the depravity of mankind. But I feel like, Steve, to your comparison to Robert F. Kennedy to a wife murderer, or actually that wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
No, not really.
But like, it's about like with like the cops search your browser history, and like all the recent results are like how to kill bear. Where to stash bear's body after I kill it? Best places in Central Park to leave a bear. And then he's like, I was doing that for research for a screenplay I was writing.
Kennedy bingo, like missing wife, dead bear. One of my favorite things in the explanation video, which is one of the most uncanny things I've ever seen about the bear thing. He's like, the redneck, being the redneck that I am. It's like, what are you talking about? Dude, you're a Kennedy. What are you talking about?
Well, Hesse and Felix, I mean, this last Robert F. Kennedy animal carcass pilfering story is the mother of all animal carcass pilfering stories. I could not believe this when I read it, but here it is. Headline from the Daily Beast: RFK Jr. decapitated a dead whale and brought it home, daughter said. A whale. A whale. Profiled by Town and Country for the magazine's Christmas 2012 issue. Kick Kennedy, which, by the way, Kennedy.
Why she's named after the streaming service?
Also, she's been fucking Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they'll get to that. They'll get to that in the story, but it says here.
Okay.
Kick Kennedy shared a bizarre anecdote about what the writer characterized as her father's extreme environmentalism.
That's one way to put it.
Okay, hang on.
He was just recycling it. You see.
By the way, could you imagine going back in time and telling Joseph Kennedy Sr. one of your great grandchildren will be a Kick?
Yeah. When I saw the name Kick Kennedy, it was like I was like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind writing those equations on the window, like thinking of all the crazy, like fun shenanigans I would get into if my name was Kick. I would write like, if there was ever a name tag, I would write "Kick Me" on it and put it on my back, at a high school reunion or something.
So it says here, the writer characterized as her father's extreme environmentalism to the extreme. So listen to this. Around 1994, Kennedy caught wind that a dead whale had washed up on a beach in Hyannisport, Massachusetts, and rushed out to the scene with a chainsaw and a 6-year-old Kick in tow. As you do. You hear there's a dead whale. You got to be first on the scene with your chainsaw because chances are there's going to be a lot of people trying to take environmentalism, take its head. But so he cut the whale's head off, secured it to the roof of his minivan with bungee cords, and made the 5-hour drive back to his family's home in New York. Every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet, Kick recalled. We all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger. But that was just a normal day-to-day stuff for us. Okay. The mental image of RFK or of RFK Jr. or really anyone driving down the highway with a whale's head bungee corded to the roof of a minivan that's disgorging gouts of fucking whale juice at every red light is bizarre enough. But to me, it is not the weirdest part of the story. The weirdest part of the story is we all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out.
Okay.
What? I understand mouth holes, but how about eye holes? You're driving a car, so like imagine you're at a red light and you smell the stench of absolute death. You turn your head, you see a whale carcass on the roof of a car, and then Robert F. Kennedy with a plastic bag duct taped to his head.
And then he turns to you slowly. You're 6 years old. He turns to you slowly with the plastic bag, whale juice flowing in, and he just says to you like, "You have to save the environment by you have to save the head. If you don't have the head is where all the mind is held. So you have to. The soul is in the head.
The head is where all the precious spermaceti is located. So maybe I think he was selling this. I don't think this is extreme environmentalism. I think this is extreme entrepreneurism.
I like the part where she's like, "Oh yeah, and people are flipping us off." As they do when you and your entire family are driving with plastic bags over your heads, and have like a decapitated whale head on your car. People always flip you off when you do it. That's just that, you know how it goes. I would be so freaked out to be in his family because every day I would think that's the day he's killing us.
It's like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Like it's literally like a flashback scene from Hannibal. Like it's like the dad who kills the deer and tells the son like, "You got to use all the meat, son." It's literally that. But in my mind, the whale head is like as big as the egg in like Godzilla versus Mothra on the beach. It's like 100 feet tall. It's just on their car, huge, like an alien, crazy, like something out of Angel's Egg. This whales. I
once again, I don't get and also when she just says, "This was just normal day-to-day stuff for us." Yeah, I bet that's probably the least weird thing that's happened to Kennedy in a car. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But what was he doing with it? I don't think this is environmentalism. This is like honestly disrespectful to the soul and beauty of a great cetacean like a whale. That some rich dickhead some rich dickhead who sounds like a fucking Muppet is just decapitating this noble creature so he can do what with it?
Not to talk bad on women, but she must be pretty dumb to still think that was environmentalism like today, telling like a reporter. He's probably like, fuck, dude.
Well, the story goes on here. It says, Kick, named after great aunt Kathleen Kick Kennedy Cavendish. Say that 10 times fast. Kathleen Kick Kennedy Cavendish made headlines on Saturday after a source told Page Six she'd recently been spotted palling around Los Angeles with Ben Affleck. The nature of their relationship remains unclear, the tabloid noted. But it says here, it goes on to talk about that media control extended to multiple embarrassing news cycles about his various run-ins with all manner of creatures, great and small, over the year. First in May came a New York Times report about how doctors in 2010 discovered that a parasitic worm had entered his brain and then died. Then in July, Vanity Fair reported that Kennedy had the previous year texted a friend a photo of him with the barbecued remains of what he suggested to the friend was a dog. Kennedy rejected this, saying the dead animal had been pictured with had been a goat. I mean, I think people have already debunked that. It definitely was a dog. Last line here, it says, and that's without getting into the 1,000 cubic foot freezer he keeps stocked full of roadkill meat.
That was like the house that Jack built. He has the fucking warehouse from that filled with like a house made of like, it's literally, he's like driving this 6-year-old girl out there with a chainsaw, telling her like, if I saw an angel in my dream that told me if I cut off this whale's head and put it on my homunculus, you'll be dating Daredevil in the future.
He is really like, he's like the dumb people in a Miyazaki film. Like, he's the guy who accidentally kills like the deer god. He's like the dickhead that gets the plot started by like, there's like some benevolent wood spirit and he hits it with a car and he's like, oh, well, I can make tea with its bones.
There's no way that whale washed up on the beach natural causes. That's like, that was a 3-week plan he was running. It was like The Sting, but for killing a whale.
He got in the Kennedy submarine and shot it with a torpedo. He was like, that head's going to be mine by hook or by crook. Well, RFK Jr., I mean, I hope he doesn't disappear from this presidential cycle, and I hope we hear again about him killing an even greater. And because once you decapitate a whale, where do you even go from there?
You have to go down. You have to scale down. It has to be like a sea bear. He has to be like, I made a human centipede out of just centipedes.
I think he is scaling down though, because he started by killing a wife. And then he was,
he swallowed the wife to catch the worm. He swallowed the worm to catch the dog. He swallowed the dog to catch the bear.
After you kill a wife, it's like, okay, I have to like taper off of this.
Yeah,
it's like when when they were putting Hermann Goering on trial at Nuremberg, and they were like, You're doing way too much morphine for us to put you on trial, which I always talk about this. It's like you're going to hang him, just let him do the morphine. But anyway, and they taper him off. It's the same thing. It's like, okay, if I like don't taper off of wife killing, I'm just going to kill the next one. I'm going to kill Cheryl from Curb. So I have to kill like what's below a wife? A whale. What's below a whale? A bear. Okay.